Hi, this is Elizabeth. I'm Thaddeus Beier's daughter, and it's the solstice. My dad is a person that really loved the solstice, or at least got excited about it being the longest day of the year with the most sunshine. He also calls me sunshine. So I'm going to just take this opportunity to say some things about him that he really loved and what I'm going to be carrying forward from his life now that he's passed away. So the first thing I'll mention that I think not as many people knew about him. A lot of people think of my dad as somebody very successful professionally in the visual effects field, and he did invent a lot of things having to do with computers, technology, science. He won a Technical Academy Award. He was extremely brilliant. He also really enjoyed being outside and noticing patterns in nature or commenting on clouds. And I think for those of you who know me as a person that comments on trees, clouds, animals that happen to be around, that's something I got from him. So one happy memory was going with him in the car to go look at a sunset. And then on the opposite side of where we were supposed to be watching, so towards the east, he noticed that the sky was too blue for what the sky should have looked like that day, especially compared to the very bright trees. And he was just astonished and flabbergasted. And he said something he said a lot, which is, if I tried to do this in a movie, nobody would believe it. And we had to get out of the car so that he could photograph the sky. And also there was a deer that came out and he crossed the street to get a picture of the deer in the frame as well. And the deer didn't run away from him, which is something that I noticed a lot, that his pictures of animals, he could get pretty close up to them. And he was such a gentle soul that they wouldn't run away very much. Another thing about my dad is that he really loved celebrating the artistic and creative accomplishments of other people. And as much as he loved learning himself and achieving new, exciting things himself, which he did certainly like to do, he was equally excited when I succeeded or when anybody else succeeded. And since he's passed, a lot of people that worked with him commented on how encouraged they felt by him and how happy he was to talk about their ideas. One of my earliest creative memories was of being little and drawing a rainbow and putting little happy faces into the circles in the clouds. And he said, "Wow, you've never done that before. Why did you put these smiley faces here?" And I said, "I don't know. Just thought they should go." And he said, "That's so great." And that attitude made me always want to bring him my creative projects to look at first. And that's something that I've been missing about him now and for a while since he had his dementia for a long time. Although well into his illness, he still got excited if I played the piano. So that was still up with him pretty close to the end. And he also really enjoyed singing. And, um, but yeah, for those of you who felt like, you noticed that he got excited when you did something cool. Like he absolutely did. And sometimes he even would tell me about it in the evenings, like coworkers or friends accomplishing their creative goals. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on that was really special about him was that he was able to see the best qualities in people, especially people that he loved, even when they might be having not their best moment. So an example that comes to mind for me that I won't go into too much detail is that in my early 20s, there were a couple of years when, due to something unfortunate that happened to me, I was in a really bad way and just psychically not myself, energetically not myself, mostly staying at home, afraid to go outside. And my parents had trusted me to watch my brother while they went down on a date. And unfortunately, I didn't do a very good job. But when they came back, my brother was crying and upset. And that was one of the few times when my dad was like properly disappointed in me because I hadn't been as good of a loving sister as I should have been. So he was definitely not happy with me. And that's painful to remember. But the reason I'm sharing this story is that he didn't conclude that I was just a worse person now. He just knew that I needed a lot of help to get back to myself. And he helped to make sure that I got out of my room and got back to school and finished my degree and made the connections with other people that I needed to make in order for my empathy to come back online and my joy to come back online. And so even when I was at my most depleted and not able to do much for myself or my loved ones or anybody around me, he still saw me as his sunshine daughter who would be able to come back and still still be myself. And I really appreciate that about him. So as I go forward, without dad being on this earth anymore, the things that I'll try to do is, number one, take notice of things in nature that are really beautiful that would have made him happy, whether it's the longest day of the year or the leaves changing colors. This morning we had some toads in the yard, and I think he would have really liked that. I'm going to keep learning about my creativity and trying new things, and try my best to also surround myself with creative people and celebrate their success and celebrate their learning or their failures as well. Just celebrate when they did something creative, because my dad definitely was still encouraging if I didn't succeed, but I had tried hard. And he would give me a gentle reminder if I presented something as though I had done my best, but I obviously hadn't, that if I was putting my name on something, I should give it 100%. That was something he used to say too. So I'll do that. And then finally, keeping his spirit of grace and forgiveness and seeing the best in people, I think is part of what gave him such a joyful, happy life, because it helped his connections stay strong over a long time. So happy solstice, and I hope that that dad is feeling remembered and honored, and I'll end there.